money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut the trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. An acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. There's no need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp.
A little bit about a plan I know that can save the world. It goes long and tall and has powers that can make your heart swirl. It's a fun plant with a fiber that is resistant to rain and mold. It's the strongest plant fiber known to man, the best growth you'll ever hold. Well, the pioneers load up the wagon trains and the canvas made of hemp. In Washington and Jefferson, going on their farms, they said they make the most of it. The first stars and stripes were sewn on hemp. The first Constitution too was used around the world for food, fiber, oil, medicine, and fuel. And if we don't succeed, we won't have no need for any other oil. We make pigs and eggs, run our cars, grow it back and next season, little pigs in the soil. Because we choose to see we can put in our mouth with omega-6 and 3. We can feed the world with the tree of life and live sustainably. But if we cut down all the trees, we won't have nowhere to be. We'll grow fields of hemp instead. We can make our paper, build a house from it. It's the next land, grow wild and free. Live in the way that we ought to be. Gonna leave our children a better world than my ancestors and left me. La 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 la. Thank you for the car. Whoa.
Gotta happen, you know? And I think this is the year. My vision is that we turn all the GMO crops into hemp, and I think that's like the next, like, because the farmers, people are aware that GMO is bad, and there's going to be a big backlash against it, I see, against the GMOs, and then the farmers, they're kind of stuck because the GMOs are subsidized by the government, and they don't have an alternative. They're like, okay, well, what are we going to plant then?
Exactly.
So this is the alternative, and it'll replenish the soil and give them a real...
And the other cool thing is there's no way in hell that we're going to grow like 80 acres of marijuana and harvest it and then send it to China to make shirts.
Right.
We're going to hire people right here in our own backyard to make the shirts.
Yeah.
And that's it's a cash crop for the farmers, it's a job maker for the community, and we quit arresting people, so we're saving the taxpayer dollars, and we're accumulating tax income to take care of the baby boomers who are soon to be the next homeless people in this country.
Hey, what do you think that the medical marijuana pursuit is stifling the hemp being approved?
You know, that was what Jack Harrison used to say. This is how I got into the movement. I ran Jack Harris's office while he went out and thumped the university with this book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes. And when they first started with Dennis Perone and Dr. Todd McArea and Lynn and Judy Osborne came to Jack and said, look, we want to do a medical marijuana initiative. Jack was like, oh hell, you know, you don't even say anything about industrial hemp, industrial paper. And he was very agitated that it was ignored for so long, and that's always been a claw in my side. Now the one that's happening in Oregon is why I love it so much is that the Oregon Cash Initiative focuses, they've already got medical marijuana up there, so they're not so concerned about that. What they're concerned about is having a steady economy, jobs for the people that are now getting out of high school and college so they can start taking care of their own families. They're trying to create goods that will be on the open market very competitive. and still do it within the confines and making certain that the planet's not going to be hurt, by all the chemicals and all the things that we use to make all these other things that are coming out of the ground and the So that's always upset Jack Hare as well too. So I love what Octa's doing, and it does agitate me because the government has said that the problem with this plant is we all get high. The truth is, that's only 1% of the importance of that plant.
Right.
The 99% of that's important is how good it is for your body when you eat it, how good it is for the soil when you grow it, how awesome it is for the environment when you use it for fuel, a lot of jobs that you can make. And you're talking about money. As long as you start following the money, you realize, here's why it's illegal. It's not because we get high, it's because it's a direct competition with JCPenney and Exxon and Mobil and all the wool industry and the paper industry. That's why we have it outlawed, and that's why his song rocks, because he sings that message. He doesn't just sing, let's get high, let's party. He also says, let's change the world, let's create jobs.
Well, and also, what's interesting to me is that it's actually more legal to grow cannabis in most states now, and it's still illegal to grow pot, to grow hemp, I mean.
Exactly.
Like, that's the reason we can't grow hemp, then why can you grow that?
Exactly. And that's why I love Canada, because Canada now underwrites the cost of growing hemp for the farmers, and they are also putting money into promoting the hemp products from their country. And if our country did that, like right
What's
now.
What's the difference? Why can't we emulate what Canada's doing? What
exactly?
How did it go south?
It's the money. It's the money.
But why isn't it the money in Canada?
I don't know, because even our own president has on his website as a way to. If you want to see President Obama get reelected, you can donate to his campaign by buying a product, and that product on his website happens to be a hemp T-shirt or a hemp shirt or a hemp-made purse or a hemp scarf.
All of the merch or some of it?
No, all the hemp. No, anything that's made of hemp that's being sold off of there is coming in from Canada.
So Obama does have some merchandise that's made out of hemp.
It's made out of hemp, and the product was made. Yeah, I don't know, but I can tell you this: it wasn't grown by our farmers, and it wasn't made by our manufacturers. And if we could grow it in this country, we'd have a lot of happy farmers, and we'd have a lot of happy merchants.
What about the girls in Glenwood Springs, Colorado? Aren't they eco-textiles? Aren't they manufacturing some of it?
They are, and they're also doing it in 2 other states as well.
But that's like 2 out of like a million. So.
It is, and then there's all these regulations and hoops that they got to jump through, and for them to make a profit, to make a living, in order to hire more people, to be a growing company.
Right.
There's so much going against them because they're using that one plant that happens to be in direct competition to almost everything else that is produced on this planet.
So are you optimistic?
For Oregon, I am. And if it goes through Oregon, if they voted it for Oregon, then we got an industrial hemp farming community all set to jump into it. And it's been written in such a way that it will withstand a challenge in federal court, and it will withstand a challenge in international court. Because of all these international treaties, the United States went around and said, you must sign this in order for us to have trade with you. Now all these countries are going, well, look, we don't want to be part of that treaty anymore, but you've got to uphold it, and we wish you would break it. What's happening in Oregon can make that happen. We can break those treaties and do it in a way that is with face from our country, because we're doing it to have jobs, we're doing it to create good products, we're doing it to save the planet, we're doing it to do for a good economy. And so it makes sense now they can step back and go, aha, instead of going, oh, we were wrong about the drug war, we should have never done it. They can say, well, we've been enlightened, and we are low on resources, this is what we must now do. Because other countries have really had their belly full of it.
Let me ask you this, like walking around today, I was kind of disappointed with like most of the merchandise being sold here, the vendors, like paraphernalia, I saw a bunch of young kids smoking herbs like right out in public. Like, you think that puts this whole activism in a good light?
Well, it doesn't do any more damage to it than if we were drinking liquor out in public. And also because it is under prohibition right now, there's not very many places where we can go and do it freely.
Right.
If we were able to do it more freely, it would be less of a ha-ha Right now, all of a sudden, it being one burst spot, it would be an occasional, there's somebody in this book and enjoying this book.
I agree that alcohol is like way worse. It makes people want to fight. So the violence isn't there.
And there's people who say, well, how about, aren't you worried about them getting high and getting behind a steering wheel and driving? Well, I got news for you. People are doing that anyway, so that's not going to change.
Right.
And for those who are really concerned, if you check out the car driver reports past 2 decades, they've shown that people who smoke marijuana are better drivers than people who don't smoke marijuana at all.
Interesting.
They do miss their exits more often, but they're more safe as a driver.
Not speeding.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about that. Of course, I don't want the pilot of the airplane getting high and flying. Of course,
sure.
And I don't want somebody teaching my kids to go down to their brains. But I don't really care if they're out raking my yard or if they're cleaning my windows or, use common sense is what we say. Just like liquor, I don't want somebody getting drunk and flying an airplane or teaching my kids. But I don't care if they've had 2 shots of tequila and they're raking my yard. Is the yard getting raked?
Okay, what's the name of your website again?
Time for Hemp, the number 4, TIME, the number 4, hemp.com.
Cool, brother. Thank you so much. That was a lot of knowledge in just 10 minutes.
Well, thank you. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I'm Casper.
Thank you, Eric, for bringing him by, man. Yeah.
I forgot to ask you, don't you have a thing on the internet that you do?
I do. I have a podcast called High Times Presents Free Weed from Danny Danko.
Nice. And how can people find that?
You go to hightimes.com/freeweed, and you can go to SoundCloud and listen to it for free. We've got 27 episodes so far, and we're chugging along.
And they can find your archives there, so all your past guests can see heard.
All the past guests, we've had Dr. Lester Grinspoon and a bunch of growers from around the world, a lot of the breeders who've won the Cannabis Cups. And, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And sometime you might even have Paul Stanford on the program.
Absolutely.
And maybe even, what's my name?
Leitch.
Casper Leitch on that program. What's it called?
Free Weed from Danny Danko.
Uh-huh. And you have a great day here at the Seattle Hempfest. Thank you. I forgot about that. We're doing Casper and Friends. We're having a lot of fun here, aren't we?
We are. I have to say, the women up here know how to dress.
They know how to dress, and they're very nice, and they're very creative. In fact, the whole population is just fantastic here in Seattle. And I must say that Vivian's did a fantastic job of putting together this spectacular event.
Last night we had speakers dinner, and I looked around at a whole room full of people, many of whom I've known 15 years or more. And you have to understand, when we first got together, we were so pathetic. We couldn't get sex tabloids to use the term medical marijuana. We would have had an easier chance with medical meth. And when we finally qualified for the ballot, and a TV show was going to discuss the different ballots, I got Dennis and everyone together and I said, they're going to have to say it. And nobody believed me. I said, no, they're going to have to say medical marijuana.
They're going to have to.
They have to.
Yep.
So we turn on the tube, and our whole pathetic little team that somehow qualified for the ballot thanks to the last minute help of so many wonderful people. But they do Proposition 13, 14, and then they get to 15, and like 30 seconds into it, he says medical marijuana. And then they said medical marijuana a half dozen or more times. And they said it like it was a regular word, and the next day, the whole world
has a new term.
Has a new lexicon,
That's
new
right.
word.
Medical marijuana. And it has blossomed since then. I know Lynette Shaw did an awful lot of work on Prop 19 as well. She's been around as well. And then there was the Lynn and Julie Osborne. They were kind of active at the time, I think.
I think that the most active people that we had were the people that came in from the seniors, the gays, all the different coalitions, including police and sheriffs, that endorsed us. And just when things were darkest, we got the endorsement of Doonesbury.
You guys get a little closer together, I think.
All right. Well, as we can see, we got a lot of people here who are having just a little bit too much fun.
Yeah.
And so it might be a groovy time for us to say,
And they're
hey,
getting aid right now.
and we're heading off to we're heading out to enjoy more time at the Seattle Hempfest, party with our friends, and we're going to have you on as a guest in the radio show sometime very soon, and we can get it worked out in the calendar.
I have stopped doing any interviews, but I will make a special exception if you want.
I appreciate that so much. Really, that means a lot. So you're going to be on Cannabis Common Sets with us at Time for Hemp soon. And we're going to go party at the Seattle Hempfest 2012.
We are.
Thank you.
Come join us.
We are having a great time at the Seattle Hempfest here 2012, and of course Vivian's did a great job of putting together an awesome list of speakers, one of which has a great TV show on PBS that I have watched, Rick Steves. And I tell you, when I watch you go through Europe, I was stationed in the Army in Germany for 3 years, and it's like returning home. I got great high definition TV, and the spots that you go to and the way you describe the visits and the things that you do, it gives me a chance to relive my moments, and I want to thank you and applaud you for the amazing work you do.
Thank you very much. I'm thankful to have public broadcasting to air my shows.
And now I was surprised, like many people, to find that a well-rounded, well-educated, very kind of conservative individual seems to be very pro-marijuana. Is it because of your travels around the world that you see that it's not as much of a problem and you became more aware of the problem that prohibitions cause here? Or?
I wouldn't say I'm pro-marijuana. I'm pro people's right to enjoy marijuana. You know, it doesn't matter what I think personally about marijuana. I just think part of being an American is having civil liberties. And I think the responsible adult use of marijuana is a civil liberty. And I think it's a shame that we have to criminalize it, because drug policy in a society should be motivated, I think, by pragmatic harm reduction. And we have laws against marijuana that are the opposite of pragmatic harm reduction. I think they're increasing harm in our society, like the laws against alcohol did back in the wrong-minded prohibition era. You know, and Europe has drug problems just like we have drug problems here. Drugs can be abused. Drugs can be fun. Drugs can be abused. And Europe has decided to take the crime out of the equation in general and treat it as a health challenge and an education challenge. And consequently, marijuana is generally treated more like a soft drug, like alcohol or nicotine or something like that. And for Europeans, it makes a lot of sense. So what I like to do is inject that little European sensibility into the whole discussion on marijuana.
Now, PBS was also, in a lot of ways, like a conservative slant, I think, you know. And does this cause any problem in any way at all with PBS and your series?
I'm not advocating smoking marijuana. I'm advocating legalizing it for adults who want to enjoy it as a civil liberty. So that's very American. That's very conservative. And I would think anybody who cares about fundamentally what it is to be an American would applaud this. I think most people would agree with you and me that this is a civil liberty, but most people are also in a situation where, because of all the fear and lies in our society, they can't talk freely about it. I'm lucky because I can talk freely about it because nobody can fire me, and I just really believe this is the truth. So, and I'm thankful that PBS is cool enough to recognize that. You know, I suppose if I wanted to get some underwriters for my show, they might say we don't want to underwrite Rick Steves because it's associated with drug policy discussion. I guess that's their right if they want to, but I think more and more people are realizing that the truth is on our side, and I'm really excited that Oregon and Washington and Colorado are likely to be the first states in the country to legalize marijuana, and for me that is a beautiful thing.
And for industrial hemp. And I want to remind people to donate to PBS because of your donations. Great programs like Rick Steves stays on the air. There's other great programming as well,
well,
where
you know,
they can speak their voice.
Thank you very much for that. And the beautiful thing about PBS, it's one part of the media that is not dominated by corporate interests.
Right.
Public broadcasting is motivated by a passion for people better understanding the world and embracing life. And if it's in the interest or not in the interest of some corporate need for profit, that's beside the point. And I don't think there's too many places on the dial where you can have media for the people instead of for corporate interests. So this is something to take care of and appreciate and be thankful for.
And this is what, your third time to come to the Seattle Hempfest?
More than that, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 times, and so you have a good time here. And so next year we anticipate you being here. Let people know why they need to come to the Seattle Hempfest next year.
Oh, I think it's fun to celebrate tolerance and civil liberties, and the fact that, like my European friends tell me, a society has to make a choice, tolerate alternative lifestyles or build more prisons. And then they always remind me that we Americans lock up 8 times as many people per capita as Europeans do. Either we are inherently more criminal or there's something screwy about our laws. And we're straightening out those laws right now. And my hunch is next time we come to Hempfest 2013, marijuana will be legalized, taxed, and regulated.
Well, it has been an honor for you to take time for us here, and I look forward to having you back on the show.
Let's do it. Next year we got a date.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Hey, we're having fun here at the Seattle Hempfest 2012 with Casper and friends. 2 of my best friends I'm hanging out with, Paul Stanford, Ed Rosenthal. You should be here, but since you can't, we're going to fill you in on why you should have been here. Paul, let them know what's up here today.
Well, the Seattle Hempfest is the world's biggest pro-marijuana festival. It happens on the 3rd weekend of August every year. This is the 21st annual Seattle Hempfest. It usually has 200,000 to 300,000 people. I'm sure we'll be meeting those marks this year. There's a lot of debate around the political issues, but we're on the verge of 3 huge initiatives to end marijuana prohibition. So that's a big point.
And Ed, you're having fun here at the fest, I know. What's the biggest thing that you think is attraction? What is the biggest attraction you think is here?
For me, it's the speakers and the symposium, because there's so much information and insight, wisdom that's transferred. I really like that. And they're great bands. They have about 100 bands. So it's music of all kinds.
We're having a lot of fun here. Wish you could be here. Casper and friends are smoking out from one end to the other here at the Seattle Hempfest. We'll see you next year for sure. Ed Rosenthal at quicktrading.com, is that right?
Yes, or just put my name into Google and all kinds of stuff will come up.
And Paul Stanford from hemp.org, is that right? And Casper Leitch from timeforhemp.com, is that right?
I think that's right.
We want everybody to tune in and take time for hemp, and we love you all from here at Cannabis Common Sense. Party!
All right.
Let's go smoke out! We are on the air with Casper and friends here at the Seattle Hempfest 2012. We are having a blast. I'll tell you, from one end to the other, it has been an amazing, historic piece of history that I think everybody should have. At least if you didn't get a chance to attend it, tune in to check it out. You're going to find a lot about it online. I've been lucky enough to be with a lot of people throughout the event. Many people, my friends from a long time ago to now. One of the people who's been an all-time friend of mine is Richard Marcello. Richard and I, we met each other when we were working for Jack Hare. I ran Jack's office for 3 years.
We met back in, I think, 91, late 91. We went up to San Francisco for...
Let people see you.
Hey.
He's so used to filming all the time, he doesn't know when to put his camera down.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, Casper and I met, and he was working with Time for Hemp. He was hosting, and we went up to this big environmental thing at a park in San Francisco.
We did Earth Day, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. We stayed on a housebot across the Golden Gate.
I remember that now, we did.
Yeah, and we came in and we got some incredible interviews.
We did. So you got we got Gateway Galbraith
that
day,
and we got Wavy Gravy. And God,
an amazing list of people.
I think Dennis Perone we got in there.
Dennis Perone, we did, and of course Jack.
And we had Jack.
Well, yeah, we were going to get Ed Rosenthal, but Ed was dropping acid that
day. And we love you out there, Rosenthal.
We do, Ed.
He knows who we are.
But now, you also got your own TV presentation, don't you?
Well, you know, for 10 years I did Hip for Victory. I did 66 shows in 10 years. They closed the studio, now I'm doing through the internet.
Nice.
I'm at realfast.tv. And go to my Richard Marcello. I had to think about it.
I had to remember your name.
I still haven't choose. That was great. But it's great to be here. This is the 21st annual one. And I understand they're going to dedicate a stage in Jackson.
They are, and Paul Stanford's trying to get a park in Jack's name.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
So that'd be
you
great.
know, I heard talking about they'd like to see a statue on Venice Beach in honor of Jack.
That would be
Wouldn't that
nice.
be awesome?
That would be nice. Well, now you want people to tune in where, or find you where, or check out your URL?
Yeah, you can Google Richard Marcello along with Jack Hara, George Clayton Johnson, and it goes to then you go to realfast.tv, and that'll take you to the network, the internet, and then go to Richard Marcello, my channel.
Nice.
I've got 7 or 8 different episodes of Hemp for Victory there.
Right.
I've got tapes from several different Seattle's up there. You know, the usual thing is good stuff.
And it's great to be able to have you part of the Time for Hemp history.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I tell you, we got film footage that you were shooting with Gatewood from that Earth Day, and we hear your voice asking Gatewood questions. So you've been around a long, long time, and you have a lot of the marijuana history.
Yeah, I got involved in January 1980.
You did.
And that's
And Jack drugged me
January
into it when he
Jack.
made me swear to always be an activist until it was legal.
Yeah,
I was 65 or dead.
Something like that, yeah.
All right. Well, Richard,
Okay, well, that's it.
I want to thank you so much for being part of our
All
program.
right, guys. Keep on watching. Hey, bro.
Alrighty.
Seattle rocks.
Come next year. We're going to go party now backstage here at Seattle Hempfest 2012.
Absolutely.
From the Seattle Hempfest 2012, Casper and friends are smoking out, having fun. I can't tell you, it is a blast being here at this event. My first time at a Seattle Hempfest, amazing. And I'm here with my friends from High Times magazine, Danny Danko. I'll tell you, it is amazing. This magazine has been around for a long time, and every time it comes out each month, get your own herb, baby. They do a better and better job, I tell you, with the photos inside and the reporting is great, and it's just really awesome. And I encourage you to go to High Times and hightimes.com.
Absolutely.
Hightimes.com, get your issue, let's be safe in Indiana, get your current issue, and let everybody know how important it is to end prohibition. Isn't that what you're all about with this magazine?
Absolutely. Well, we're big fans of Time for Hemp.
And we're smoking out with Danny Danko here. And Danny, tell me, what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
We've just been doing a ton of events now. We've been the Cannabis Cups now in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Denver, and now we're coming to Seattle. In just about a month, September 15th and 16th, we're here in Seattle with the Medical Cup, and for the first time ever. We're very excited about that. And then we have Amsterdam coming up in November. The
Amsterdam!
25th Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam.
25 years of Cannabis Cup. 25. Steve Hager, you rock. Hello, Steve. Love to all.
This year is the Founders Cup, so we are actually honoring Steve Hager as the founder of the Cup and many of the founders of the Dutch coffee shop industry and that whole scene, because without them, who knows, without everybody, without Time for Hemp, without High Times and Normal and all these people, we may not have gotten to where we are now or where we're going to get in the future, full end to marijuana prohibition.
Appreciate you acknowledging it too. That's nice. It's very nice of you. Your magazine has been also a pioneer not only in marijuana prohibition but also in recreational enjoyment prohibition.
Yeah, and freedom to imbibe in what you like, and as long as you're not hurting anyone else, you think it's okay,
Now, what does High Times think about the Oregon tax initiative? Are you guys for it, behind it, think it's groovy, or what?
I'm behind anything that's a step in the right direction towards the end of marijuana prohibition. So that's 80, right, in Oregon?
Yep, is it 80?
I mean, I think
or
it's
50?
I think it's called 80.
Prop 80?
Yeah,
well, short-term memory loss. Prop 80, Prop 80.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of initiatives, a bunch of chances to make some progress this year in an election year in Colorado and Massachusetts, basically a bunch of states. So, we keep taking our steps forward, and eventually we're going to have to acknowledge on a federal level that marijuana is going to be free.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you for being part of this big event here. You guys are one of the sponsors here, aren't you? You see how that goes?
We are, and
Go ahead and hit the pause button. pick it up though, because that was just kind of rude. Just keep it rolling.
Drop a couple of those bales on us.
Yeah, no shit. Hold on. Well, here, you have a hit while I babble for a minute. So, we like to want to thank you for being part of the Seattle Hempfest here because you're one of the sponsors tonight. It's the impression I get, and you guys have made not only this year possible, but past years possible. I'm looking around at all the fantastic vendors and all the amazing people going up and down the strip here, and all the great speakers that we got here. It's just getting bigger and bigger and more productive.
Yeah, I got to acknowledge all the volunteers. I mean, Vivian McPeak has done an amazing job. Rachel, all the people here who are involved, but they have this army of volunteers who don't get enough credit for what they do. They clean up, they basically run the show with hundreds of thousands of people all clamoring for something. And so big up to the volunteers of Seattle Hempfest. You guys rock.
And again, Vivian, you're an amazing individual. The way you organize this every year, and you're just determined to make it the event of the summer.
The biggest, marijuana.
You're amazing.
And it's only 21 years strong, and just keeps getting bigger and stronger. And it's incredibly organized and incredibly productive and amazing.
And what's the name of the magazine again? It's called what?
High Times Magazine.
High Times Magazine. It's called High Times Magazine?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, you go to hightimes.com?
Yeah, hightimes.com. And if you're interested in checking out the Medical Cannabis Cup, it's medcancup.com.
And I tell you, it has been really a lot of joy. Looking out with you, I tell you.
You're a pioneer of this movement, so it's an honor to be with you and, following in the footsteps of all the amazing people who paved the way.
Thank you so much. And we're going to be doing a lot more partying here at Seattle Hempfest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spent. Take another look and spend some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes, it's time for him. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 bales of oil. No need for pesticides to poison